Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. Right, let me take a little bit through the story, and I know some of you don't like when I talk too much, but I'm gonna have to do it this time, or again. Right, what we're looking at is a gearbox actuator from a Honda Civic 2008. Okay, so I was asked to look at this car long time ago. And when I say long time ago, it was probably a few months back. The car was a non-starter, or it is a non-starter. And at the time, I was asked to go there to reprogram the key. And these guys was well before I had the IM608. Anyway, the guy was convinced that it was an immobilizer problem. I never had a chance to go and look at the car. Not that I've been dodging the guy, but I just didn't have the time. Anyway, last week the guy just turned up with this. And he said, now it's not an immobilizer problem anymore. He said that the car is engaged in first gear and was not coming out of first gear. And that's why it was not starting. So this is one of those manual gearbox that is actuated with these two motors. Similar to the Ford DuraShift. Fiat is hydraulic, I think. Anyway, it's one of those electrical systems. So it's a manual gearbox, but the gears are actually engaged with these two motors. Now, if the guy has diagnosed it right, by brought it to me and say this is the issue, or if there is an issue on the car, not allowing, obviously, these motors to do their job, I don't know. And I really don't know. The guy initially was saying it was an immobilizer problem. Now it's not an immobilizer problem anymore, and it's the gearbox actuators. I don't know. I don't even have the pinouts for these motors. I'm gonna guess we're gonna have a power ground for the motor. If not two powers, one ground, one to power the motor or the system, the other one to actually power the motor, and then a sensor. It's going to be some position sensors, I guess. So I don't know the pinouts, don't even know if I'm going to look for it. I'm just going to start to dismantle and see what we find. Okay, first motor is out. It is a little bit dry, but if you remember on the DuraShift, this was stuck. This one is not stuck. This is moving absolutely freely back and forwards. No problem. So we will lubricate this before we put everything back in. But at least the mechanism here is okay. Now we need to dig into the side. Try to understand what's wrong on this side. Or if there is anything wrong on this side. Ideally, I would have the pin out. And I could activate this motor straight away. But I don't. Yet. Maybe. Let's see how we're going to do this. Okay, so my next step was to remove the motor cover. Now, looking at the rotor in there, it looks a little bit dirty, but it looks okay to me. Nothing really obvious. The brushes, I don't know if you're going to be able to see on camera. Where are they? Oh, they are there. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see. They are right there at the bottom. They are okay. There's plenty of brushes left, I think. The good thing is now I will be able to figure out the pinouts just by measuring this, which is good. Then we can actually get the motor running. So let's gonna do that and see if it works. If it's working or not, I would say. Okay guys, so on the close inspection, I've actually noticed that the brushes, although they still have... So I figured out the pins to start with. So is the pins on the edge is the ones that go straight to the motor. There is a little module inside, which is right there. I don't know if you can see it. Right here underneath, there's a little module. So I'm going to guess the other pins are going to be some sort of communication, LIN bus, or I'm not sure. Maybe communicate straight with the PCM. I'm not really sure. Anyway, on a closer inspection, I've actually noticed, and after cleaning the rotor, etc., I've actually noticed that the brushes are actually on the low side. They still make a good contact, but they are on the low side. So what I've done, and for reasons, guys, that I'm not... First of all, I don't even have a clue how these brushes would come out, to be honest. I think the whole rotor would have to come out. I would have to open these here to figure out how it comes off, etc., etc. For reasons, guys, that I'm not going to take you through, I'm not going to spend too much time with this, okay? Doesn't matter why, you don't need to know. I'm just going to try to get this going. Probably was working still, but what I've decided to do is find a way to allow the brushes to travel a little bit longer, which I already found a way. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Yes, you are. Can you see this little tab here? Sorry guys, this little tab here that I have bent backwards. So this little tab is the same as that one in there. Let me... Oh, it's very difficult to... No, come on, lamp. Stay here. So that tab is the same tab as that one in there. Sorry guys, it's very difficult to... That one in there, right there at the end of this pick, yeah? And that stops this top. Let me see if I can now hold this. Okay, there we go. So there is... Come on, focus. In there. There we go. So that, let me see if I can show you, prevents this top here. You see this top plate here? You see that? You stop this from moving. So when the wire, so you see, this comes forward and then stops there. And the wire that is attached to the brush touch this metal here, and that's what stops the brush from going any further. So what I'm allowing on the other one, by bending that backwards, is allowing this to travel a little bit forward. So in turns will allow the brush to turn even forward as well. And what I'm going to do now, that's why I have the gun in there, is I'm going to do that on this side, which is there, which was really good to show you earlier. Sorry about that, guys. I know it's a little bit of... Are you going to focus now? Okay, so I bent that backwards. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push... Oh, come on. I should... So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push this forward. You see, I'm going to push this forward. Can you see it moving at the top? See it moving in there. Very difficult. You see it moving at the top? I'm going to push this forward, not to touch the rotor, obviously. I'm going to move it forward and then just fill this with that melted glue to hold that in place. So all it's going to do is going to allow the brushes to wear a little bit more. So it might last a couple more years possibly. That's what I'm going to do. Then we're going to put it back on, test the motor, and lubricate everything before we put it back in. Test that here, and hopefully check the other one, see how the other one is. I haven't took the other one out. It might be that I'm wasting this time and the other one is completely destroyed. We don't know that yet. But for now, let's kind of get this one done. Okay, and let me show you how it looks like. So that's what we did. Okay. So we push that forward and we put a little bit of this glue on both sides to hold that top plate a little bit forward to allow the brush to travel a little bit more. And you can see in there, I think, let me see how much it can actually still travel now. So it's gonna give it plenty of life. Now let me see if I can put this in a way I can actually show this properly. I'll go to all the shaking again. Let me put this properly so I can show you. So there it is. So now the brush can travel. Let me see if I can get a peek in there. It can travel from where the cable is all the way up to there. So you can see you still have probably about 5 mils. Probably about 5 mil on each side, half a centimeter. That's a lot of time. That will give plenty of life to this motor. So let's gonna put the cap back on and try it. Let's gonna test. So ground, power. Oh, lovely. Look at that. They run for a few seconds. Yeah, it's fine. The motor will never run for this long when in place. Let's reverse the polarity. Beautiful. So this motor is definitely working. Now let's gonna put this back on, grease everything first, put everything back on and test the second motor. One last test to this side before we move into the next one. Ah, look at that. Sweet. Working good. Okay, now before I dismantle the other one, I'm going to assume it's going to be the same pin out. So we're going to test it before we actually take everything to bits. Don't know what's going to happen, but let's going to try and see what happens. Let's assume it's going to be the same pins. It is working. Look at that. Fine. It's working absolutely fine, so the problem is not this. But still, I'm going to remove it and just check it, lubricate, probably do the same as we did on the other one, just for the, I don't know, just to make sure it's alright. But you've seen it working, and it looks like, again, they diagnosed the car wrong. But I think, well, we'll see. Okay, so the second motor is a slightly shorter motor, but same principles, same insides. Brushes are pretty much as the other one, nearly getting to the end of that little plate at the top. So we're going to perform exactly the same as we did on the other one. But you've seen it's working. So now this one was working. The other one, okay, so I haven't tested it before, so it could have been that motor was not working. I think it's a little bit difficult to tell now after I've done what I've done. But, well, it looks the same as this one. The other one looked the same as this one, and this one was working fine. So, I don't know. Just kind of cover when I said I might diagnose it wrong. Yeah, it might could have been that motor was actually working. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're going to do the same on this one and then do a last test. But it looks like the system is actually working fine. And let's kind of test this one now before we put it back in. There we go. Working perfect. There we go. Beautiful. Let's kind of assemble these again and do a last test. Okay, let's kind of test this now. Forward, reverse, forward. There we go. Yep, I'm happy with this. And I'm also happy to deliver this as fully functional. Now, there is a possibility that there is something wrong with those electronic boards inside, which is the position sensors, etc. Now, there is a possibility, but remember, I haven't scanned the car, I haven't looked at the car, I was only brought this, that was not working. So I initially assumed that it could be the motors. As you have just seen, motors are absolutely perfect, no problems at all. I will give this as a fully functional. I will obviously advise that it could be that there is an issue with the electronics inside. As I said, I haven't looked at the car, so, well, that's for someone else, unless I find a way or they bring me the car, whatever. I don't know, honestly. But the main reason why I still think I'm going to share this, because when I started recording, I was not sure what would come out from this video, is because at least I think I've showed you a way of taking a little bit more life from those brushes by bending those little plates and push the top plate forward. That will in turn allow the brush to move a little bit more. So you can still take probably a few more years out of these motors if your problem is that the brush is getting on these last legs. I think you can increase the lifespan of these ones. But yeah, guys, I don't know what you guys are gonna think. If anything interesting, maybe not, I don't know. Still, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you've learned something. Okay, right. To start, what you've just seen, I was not even planning to record that. I just thought, you know, I will start, and then if there's any interesting stuff on it, I will make something out of it. And right at the end, I thought, yeah, I think at least to show how it works inside, to show that yes, the bit on the brushes, you definitely can take by doing what I've done. You can take a few more, some more life out of those motors, in case if that is the issue you are facing, which in that case might was or might not. Anyway, the reason why I'm recording this bit now is because, and this is like a week later after the actually part has been picked up, but just today I was actually editing the video, I was putting all the bits together, and I was thinking about what happened when the part was picked up. And after thinking for a while, I thought I need to talk about this, because let's face it, guys, I make this content and I put this content out there. It's not for me. I get the things done. Doesn't matter if I record it or not. Actually, it takes me way longer to record. Not way longer to record. It takes me way longer to do a job when I'm actually recording it. It slows down things quite a lot. But I put this content out there for you guys that are facing a problem, and you go on it. I get so many of those comments where someone just watched the video and just comment, I just had this issue, followed your video, bang, you sorted. Guys, that brings me so much of a fulfillment about everything I post out there for you guys. So, and when the part was picked up, and I'm gonna take, I'm quite safe. I feel quite safe doing or speaking about it, because I'm not mentioning, I'm not making any reference to any names, to any companies, to any garages. You know, not even the car itself. It's just a Honda Civic. I believe it's called High Shift, I think is what Honda calls it. And basically, guys, it's a similar system to like what Ford uses on Duratorque, on Durashifts, where you have a hydraulic clutch assembly with an electric motor that pumps oil to activate the clutch. On this Honda, don't know if it's like that or if it's purely electric, or if it's both. And then you have a set of motors that actually pulls the levers back and forwards, or those Leo shafts, and engages the gears. So everything in sequence, controlled by a module or the PCM, and that's literally how it works. So this Honda is a very, very, very similar system. When the guy came to pick up the part, he came with the person that is actually repairing the car. So as I explained at the beginning of the video, for reasons that doesn't matter, I never had a chance to look at the car. He ended up by bringing me that gear actuator assembly. But yeah, he came with the guy that is looking at the car. Now, I'm a foreigner, so I can't say a lot, but this guy had, how to put it across, he was a little bit confused on the words he was choosing to call things. To call things, yeah? So, I don't know. This is a brush. You're not going to call it a hammer. It's a brush. This is a hammer. You're not going to call this a brush, are you? So, in 2 to 3 minutes of conversation or argumentations, I would say, I found more about what's going on with our car than I found from the actual owner. So I never looked at the car, as I said, and by the looks of it, the car was taken to this guy that is looking at it. He couldn't figure out what was wrong, and the car went to Honda. They never repaired the car, but they told him the problem is, and listen to this, and now at this point, you my guy's going to say, whoa, you are the one that was wrong. I don't believe I am, so I'm still going to record it like this and put it out like this. They told him the problem with the car is the gear selector. Let that sink for a moment, yeah? The gear selector. That's what the owner said, and that's what the guy said to me. The mechanic that is looking at the car, yeah? That Honda told him the problem is the gear selector. As far as I'm concerned, what they brought to me is not the gear selector. It's the gear actuator. okay? That assembly does not select the gears. That assembly engages the gears. The selector to me is the lever inside the car. Now, I might be wrong, and it might be that Honda, maybe Honda did not even use the word selector, and they are all confused about what's going on with the car. So we tested the motors, as you've seen back on the video, etc., etc. Then the guy was arguing that on the car it works different, and that he knew already the motors were working. And I thought, so why did you brought me this then in first place? Then he wanted to know, what he wanted to know was if the... So as you've seen, there's 2 PCBs on each motor, which they are like position sensors. He wanted to know if that is working. I said, look, I can't test that without having that on the car. You know, even the calibration, etc., needs to be done on the car. It can't be done like this. So the guy then kind of let's put it across. He starts arguing. He's working on cars for over 15 years, etc., etc. And the conversation was taking a side that I was not happy with, so I just went silent and let him go. The owner then asked me to have a look at the car, if he could bring the car. Honestly, I'm not interested. I thought about it, about just get the car in, just so I could, I don't know, throw on their faces what the problem actually is. But I don't know what the problem is. I haven't looked at the car, but the car also had a gearbox. So it looks to me like the owner and this mechanic has been throwing parts of the car just try to fix it, and they are not really diagnosing nothing. So yeah, so that's basically I don't even know why I'm recording this bit, to be honest with you. I just thought to share this. But my main concern here is, or my main thing is call things by their names. If you call it gear selector, to me the gear selector is inside the car, is the gear selector, where you select the gears. So you select first gear or reverse, automatic. That to me is the gear selection. What they brought to me is the gear actuator, as you also have on that car the clutch actuator, which actuates the clutch. So that's how I look at it, and that's how I think it works. So yeah, that's it really to wrap up this video. I'm gonna have to edit the last bit, because honestly I was not planning to record this bit now, but I just thought it would be important. And I was just trying to help, and all of a sudden I was being attacked, saying pretty much that I didn't know what I was talking about, that I don't know what I'm doing, and his words, I work on cars for over 15 years, you don't tell me how things work. Guys, honestly, you know me from how I work. I think I've already shared with you guys plenty of times. You know how I work. I'm not here try to pretend I know more than anyone else. I'm humble on my knowledge. I know what I know. If I don't know, I will research or I will ask. That's about it, guys. Honestly, enough talking 10 minutes nearly. So yeah, so now, yes, I'm going to wrap up this video, guys. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do have any comments, any questions, just put them below. And like always, thank you for watching.